Welcome to Dodson'S Racing Insider News this week. We got the racing was pretty crazy this weekend. Even the football games were pretty crazy.
Everything was pretty good. Good sports weekend.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, let's thank our marketing partners. Let's thank GAC, Great American Company, Papa John's for always providing pizza for us every week. VA 811, call before you dig. Factory Canopies. I think those guys and those guys are supposed to be going Cars 4 racing next year. I don't think they've announced it yet, but
we can't announce it yet.
Well, we can't announce it or the driver that we figured out who it was.
I figured out who it was.
Slinger Speed Company. Although if you're in that business, you know who it is.
Yeah.
Black Acid Racing Apparel. I think Tanya McAllister at NPM Marketing. Bondurance Brothers Distillery. I think Bill and Chuck for allowing us to do the show from here. More Bill, I think. Bill more lets us do the show from here. Jack's not saying that he's in another world.
I'm studying.
You still want working without?
He's locked in, buddy.
I'm studying right now. Go ahead.
That's hard. Performance Plus Motor Oil, Safety Clean, Turn 2 Synthetics. I think Waltrip Pressure Washing Solutions, Pepsi for providing drinks. Mosquito Joe, get 50% off on your first months of service. Southampton Motor Speedway. I think Sammy Gator and Gator Graphics. Sammy makes some nice shirts, doesn't he?
That's my boy. He is keeping Cross Authentics going.
That's what he said. He's like, when he calls, I work 3 days straight. He said, but I get my money.
I always make sure of that. I want you paid.
Bean Dean Automotive with Grir and Associates. RDS swept the weekend this weekend. Let's see. Papa John's gets you 25% off on your online orders with Dotson 25. Fast Eddie's Barbecue. S&N Communications. And I guess you got the
December 3rd, the
Stocks for
Tots
Tots
at the Charles Mack Citizen Center down in Mooresville, North Carolina. I'll be down there. And
signing autographs. You believe somebody asked him to come in to sign autographs?
He's a big deal, man.
I mean, physically.
Apparently, they think so.
y'all don't have to be jealous of the fact I'm going to be signing autographs.
Oh, I got an invitation.
You got an invitation?
Well, the show has come from a long ways. I remember when y'all were like in a Verizon store and
that was that just started the uptick.
Using dial-up internet.
It's funny because like when we first started, like there might be 5 people watching them, and it's like, man, if we could just get like 100 people, and now it's like, man, if we don't hit 1,000 by 10 o'clock or something, we're like, that show sucked. I mean, in some of I will say Bean was our highest rated show for a long time.
Oh, was it a race shop one? We did a race shop?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did it in the shop.
Well, actually, that brought up because we were talking about after the season that me and Jack should hit up maybe the champions and maybe go to their shop and do a show, the Super Streets or whoever, in the late models and do that again.
That was the first time we went over to Beans that time.
That was cool.
And I was over there and I was looking at Phil. And it looked like we were having a hard time getting Phil to talk.
Yeah, not anymore.
No.
Not anymore.
And then all
We've been hanging around Raleigh.
And all of a sudden he broke loose. And he don't have a problem talking now.
No.
I think I helped him come out of the shell.
Oh, I
probably,
yeah. I like to think that
between you and
me and Colby,
well, yeah.
when it was just us 3 on the road, we got him. We got him opened up. Now again.
But I think the first time you came here, I think
I did at the Verizon store. I did one there.
Oh, really?
I drove out there
At the beach.
I've been with y'all since the beginning.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
But it was one of the ones that it was like 7,000 views.
Yeah, I did good.
And we've gotten a few since then, but it was the biggest one for a long time there.
That was cool.
That bodes well for today then.
Anyway, hey, Eddie Clark, what's going on? Said you're waiting for the doctor to stitch you up. What in the world?
He must have forgot to barbecue again. Somebody stabbed him. He showed up here one day with bringing his barbecue. He had to bag up. He had coleslaw and coleslaw. He's like, I'll have to barbecue at home. It was a good thing it's fast.
Yeah.
All right, this weekend's news, real quick. Let's get into the news. Tyler Reddick got the Cup win this week. I thought for sure that Ryan Blaney had that one won, but that'll show you what Tyler Reddick can get done in a hurry.
I mean, he definitely seems like that type. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, it was kind of that pressure, same deal, win and get in, and he somehow just managed to make it happen.
It was a good race.
That's
It
what
was.
The whole race, like that was.
It was you didn't know who was going to be advanced to the next round. I mean, and we were talking before the show, and like here we're looking at Martinsville, right? And the guys that are in the bottom four, every one of them is one at Martinsville or real close. They could all win and change this whole thing up. And then a week ago, I would have said the bottom four was going to stay.
But one of those guys is not going to make it.
Well, I don't think he will, but he has won at Martinsville.
In the Xfinity Series, Austin Hill got the win. In the Truck Series, Grant Enfinger is now the only one who's in the last 2 weeks has got a win.
Who would have thought that?
And he's not. I mean, he had a hard season. I mean, things were just not going good for him. And now he's already in the final four, but he's the only one with 2 wins to get there. So there's 3 open spots this coming weekend at Martinsville. So that's going to be big. Down at Caraway this weekend, they had a big race down there. I do not know who won the race. All I know is I got a thing from not from Caraway, from one of the guys that was driving. Garrett Zacharias, he finished 3rd in the race down there with Boo Boo Dalton. He was in Boo Boo Dalton's car, I should say. And that was a good win, a good race for him. He missed a lot of races. His grandmother had panic attacks.
You mean wrecks?
Yeah, missed a lot of wrecks. I'm in the presence of greatness. Down in Orange County, the Pro Late Model winner was Mason Walters and Dale Ogburn. You know who Dale Ogburn is over there?
I've heard the name.
We saw him at Charlotte.
We did?
Yeah, the modified guy at Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
All right, he won.
He's going to give us a secret tour to the experience for Ford.
Anyway, he got the win and his 2nd championship in the Carolina Crate Modifieds, back-to-back championships for him. At Cordell, in the Georgia World Crown 300, Michael Hindy got the win. And then the NASCAR Modifieds were at, why'd you highlight that? I saw you when you done it. Anyway, the NASCAR Modified down at Martinsville, Justin Bonsignor got the win and the championship for the year. So he's out there on his own. And at Irwindale, they made an announcement today that they're closing the Irwindale Speedway.
That's a shocker.
I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean,
I thought that place always done fairly well.
They do a lot of different things.
And Brett Holmes has sold all of his truck equipment to Chris Hettinger, Katie Hettinger's dad, and they're going to do late models, ARCA, and trucks next year. So that's what they're planning. And Brett Moffitt is going to drive it for the rest of the year. And then we had one last race here at Atlanta Speedway. So we'll go to the Pit Road Roundup with the Pit Road Ace.
Man, we had some fun this weekend. It was Halloween. We had truck-or-treaters. We had meet and greets down on Pit Road. Everybody can go watch it. It's on Facebook, Langley's Facebook. We had the Ground Pounders mini cups, the Sprint Series, and 100-lap Limited Virginia Racer was won by Aiden. Go figure.
Yeah, he's won pretty much everything this year.
He did. I know Riley was close to him. I don't know how much Aiden was just sort of riding because they were running close times, but it seemed like Riley would nick off at him a little bit, and then he'd, run a little bit better and then kind of back off. I think he was just sort of managing the gap.
Chase Johnson won the Virginia State Championship thingy series.
Oh, yeah. I saw that,
Yeah, so that was good for him.
Is he the only one that ran every race, though, I think?
He's not the only one, but he's one of the only ones. There was a handful of them.
Yeah, I don't think there was too many, but I mean, he's ran the best out of all 4 races for sure.
Second was Brian Rundstrom in the 88.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I know he was one. But he won both at Dominion, man. He had a great.
And I think he had a second here, in the first one it was here, I think, or a third.
He was third this past weekend. I don't remember the first one.
He won out here one time too.
That was
Yeah.
the week before, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was part of the 4-race deal with Dominion.
He won 2 other races at Dominion too, so he had a 6-win year. Big year for him.
So anyway, that's the week. If you don't get that off this thing right now, I don't care what Mason done, and he is a damn problem. So, anyway, all right, we got the big man in the building.
Big man.
He's been, we've had him
Great
on
time.
for the 10 years that we've done this show, going on 10 years we've done this show.
I'm getting old.
So, yeah, something like that.
We're on show number 459. And one of our biggest shows involved him. So I mean, it's
the first big one for sure.
But hey, it's a great thing. I mean, I appreciate him coming here. I know he's been in Maine having a good time.
For good reason.
I sent him a message and he come back. He's like, I ain't gonna be here. I said, well, I know that. I know where you are. I know where you are. I said, but we're looking for Tuesday afterwards. And he kind of laid off and didn't say nothing for a little while.
It's had to talk it over.
He's like a dog with a bone, though. He don't let it go.
You got to with me though. Like my phone's just throw it outside sometimes, but
I still haven't give up on Rodney Brickhouse yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna get
Him
him.
on the making.
I'm gonna get him on the show. Now we may have to go to the old folks home to get it, but we're gonna get him on the show.
One way we'll find a way.
All right, let's get Butterbean on here because this is what we're all here for.
oh, thank you. No pressure.
Have a seat right there.
All right, I'm here.
All right, the Cars Tour Champion late model stocks.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it's something that everybody wants, and no, I mean, like, it's cool. I thought winning my track championships was really special, but to go on like what I think is the hardest tour to do in the late model world, like that's something I have forever. So
I don't think anybody will disagree with that. I mean, that's got to. I mean, if you and let's. I mean, yeah, Lee is sort of a pay team, but you got big heavy hitters in that series, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got Dale Jr., you got Kevin Harvick's team. They own the series. They're,
That's right.
big NASCAR guys. There's a ton of that, and to come out and win a championship in that series is by no means any small feat.
Well, let's face it. Every team is a paid team now in that series,
Pretty much.
except 1 or 2 family teams, and that's rare. So it's the days of the backyard guys is like very hard to run a tour. Like, probably still do it and run locally. Like, that's what I was doing, but I don't think I'd have been able to go on the tour and be as successful without having somebody like Pulliam mentor and help me. And it's been a blast. Like, I've learned a lot and I've had more fun than ever.
Well, reflect back now when you started with Lee and the first win at Florence. I was there when you won it. But I mean, think about it. That was the start of something. Nobody knew what that was going to be like for you. That's why.
Or Lee. I mean, Lee wasn't Lee's always ran well, but his team wasn't.
Oh yeah.
As I mean, I hate to say this in a way, but as good as it is right now at that time. Not that he wouldn't have turned it around.
I think his Flow interview was really cool to talk about that. I don't know if you saw that, the post race, and he talked about, like, I always thank him for making me look good, but he also said, like, I thank Brendan for putting me back on the map.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we've had that bond of I never felt like I took a chance on him. I knew how good he was. I had to pitch it to my sponsors, like, who he was and like why I wanted to drive there, because they were going off my words. So when I won the first race with him, I'm like, Yes, like
Practice ball.
I took him to a good spot. I didn't waste the opportunity. I didn't waste the money. It wasn't that I thought it was going to be more of me getting up to speed than Lee. Like his stuff was good. I felt like the pressure was on me to leave Langley, and at that time I was winning Langley. That was it. And everybody was like, he's good at Langley, but like he ain't won anything anywhere else besides East Carolina, you know. But like he's not winning big races. He's not winning on the road. And I felt like when we won that 400, it was like, okay, we're here. And then, you know, who would ever thought, but we went on to win, you know, Battle of the Stars, Wilkesboro, 2 Hampton Heats, Thanksgiving Classic, pretty much won everything except Martinsville and the 200. And we almost won the 200 that year. But I feel like my late model career I'm content with, whether I ever got to do it again or not. You know, obviously I want to win Martinsville and the 200, but I feel like I accomplished everything besides 1 or 2 that I could have. And you know, this year we wish it would have been a little more wins than consistency at the end, but we won the war, and that's what mattered, to get that on the resume.
That's good.
So where did you learn, or maybe just a switch flip for you? And I'm just going to reflect back to, I think it was the Hampton Heat, or maybe it was the Cars Tour. I think it was the Hampton Heat here, where you and Connor moved each other so many times. And I went over and I was talking to Phil, and he praised both of you guys over car control. I mean, look, it's easy to go in there and move somebody, but to handle it and be able to just not really lose anything, move the next guy, and that takes some finesse.
Yeah.
But where did you get that car control from? I mean, it's like a switch flip for you.
I think dirt racing obviously helped me a lot. I feel like I've raced a lot of stuff between the modified and, you know, legend cars, and legend cars helped a lot with a lot of like wheel spin and basically having to get up on the wheel. I think that's the hardest car I've ever drove, is a legend car, still to this day. But dirt racing definitely helped with, I think, being able to like feel how much grip I actually have in the butt of the seat. Like, I know it sounds funny, but like you almost feel the limit of wheel spin you're like in a controlled slide. So I feel like when Connor and I are throwing haymakers, it's like I'm determined I'm not going to spin out. Like I never felt like I was in any like doubt or any feeling of spinning out, but I definitely was going to give back what I was getting along, you know. And that all, like the Hampton Heat really started at the Cars Tour race, and we just finished it here. So, you know, it just kind of, you know, Connor and I raced together forever, and
it's like y'all can't get away from each other.
I mean, like, we're going to respect each other at the end of it. Like, both have accomplished a lot. And we both want to win. And I think we push each other to be better. And I think that's what the Hampton Heat was. Like, some say I was too aggressive. I felt like I got the other end of it at the Cars Tour when my bumper got knocked off. So, to me, it was just hard racing and pretty impressive on both, like on his end too. Like, we wheeled him. I guarantee we had nothing left at the end. Like, right rear tires are gone.
It was fun to watch.
That's right.
You guys, I mean, that was a show.
That's
right. Hands down, that was a show. And it is impressive, the car control that you guys have got. And I agree with you. I think both of you guys, because y'all have raced since y'all were little kids doing the go-karts, right?
That's right.
But who else do you want to beat? Probably more than anybody else, maybe.
And I think the media, like, pushes the rivalry more than we did at times, for sure. But I mean, we just kind of own it. I don't really think that we have like I don't have like an issue with him or anything. But like I said, I think you always had that one guy that pushes you to be better. And it seems like if I'm leading, he's somehow running second or the other way around. Like, we're always having to race each other. And I told somebody the other day, I said, that's the type of battles you'll look back on like 10 years from now and be like, man, I missed that. Like, it's like the Pulliam and Philip Morris battles or stuff like that.
Yeah, they did each other for a while.
You'll miss it one day.
Sure.
Because we've had some.
And speaking of car control, the last race, you got all the way sideways.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh, that's not good. But you got out of it.
Yeah, that was a tough call there. I was honestly dealing with that throttle spring I was telling y'all about, and we weren't where we wanted to be for some reason. I don't know. We were fighting grip at Wilkesboro all weekend, and I don't know. We were just didn't have it, and we were holding on. That's for sure. We were in the way, and that's what happens. But luckily, we didn't get turned around there.
I mean, it was all that was some good car control there. Ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah, it was too close.
Talk a little bit about the relationship you have with Lee Pulliam. Not necessarily racing. The way you got the friendship you've gotten together. I mean, I heard his interview the other day when after the race and everything. I mean, he's 100% Butterbean.
Oh yeah, who would ever thought after the Hampton Heat in 2020, right? So no, it's special. You know, like Phil and I's bond is special, and it always will be. But it's a different point of my career. And I tell everybody, without Phil, I'm not ready for that Pulliam opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But Pulliam's like a brother I didn't know I had. I mean, you know, he said it in that interview. We think alike. We say the same stuff. We'll be texting each other and send the same message at the same time, like, and don't know it till it's sent. And, you know, my girlfriend and his wife joke and always can tell we're texting each other because of our grins, and they give us a lot of crap about it. But man, just racing aside, like I talk to him every day. Talk to him today. He's a big part of trying to help me get opportunities. You know, he calls just about everybody and vouches for me and tells them how it was to work with me and how they should give me an opportunity. And I mean, I went on his family vacation. I mean, it was, and I had a blast. I've never gone to Maine. I've never done a lot of the stuff we went and did, but like he come in the trailer at Tri-County and was just like, you should come with us next week. I'm like, next week? He's like, we're leaving right after Wilkesboro. We left right after Wilkesboro. I tell you that. I got to his house at 5 a.m. and grabbed my bag, got in the van, and we were rolling to Maine. So I had a blast, but that's how tight it is. It's not fate. If I never race another race, like him and I would still be tight. I feel like we're proud of what we accomplished together, and you know, the relationship means more than the races.
Mm-hmm.
And to get him his first Cars Tour championship, no matter what happens moving forward, like I did it. Like I can always say I brought him one back to Alton, and that was our saying from last year, because last year was tough, losing 4 or 5 points, and there's so many what ifs that could have probably had a more dominating season last year than this year, but just there's little hiccups that cost it last year. So thought I gave it away when I wrecked at Caraway, and that's why you never give up. And that's really from day one, our 2 sayings on the team have been never give up and trust the process. And like the Hampton Heat is always trust the process when we drop back and save tires. And you know, to win back-to-back heats with him is cool. Like for me, being a hometown win, and last year was more of like, hey, I owe you a Hampton Heat since I knocked that one out of y'all's grass a couple years ago, and then to do it again.
You took it that one.
Yeah. So trust me, he gives me crap about
Does he?
it. So the whole team still gives me crap about it.
Actually, kind of going back to that, before you go to Lee's, what's the conversation like when did you go to Lee and say, hey, I want to drive one of your cars next year?
You got to ask him this question.
Okay.
Because we talked about it on the trip last week. I called him. It was weird because like I didn't want any of my guys knowing on my family team what was going on, because I didn't want Phil to stress about it. I didn't want him to think he was getting let go or something like that. And so I was doing a lot of it behind the scenes, and I was working at the port at that time. I just had a lot going on, and I called Lee, and he answers the phone, and I hadn't talked to him since since before the wreck. So I'm like, he might not even answer the phone, right? And he's like, hello, you know, hey. And I'm like, hey, I just was reaching out to you like to see if you would be interested in fielding me a car in the Cars Tour next year. And you could tell like it didn't register. Like, one, you drive your own stuff. Like, why are you calling me? And 2, like, huh? And then like he took a minute. He's like, yeah, I did. Like that was kind of it. And then the next phone call was when I could tell he was like all in. Like I think it just caught him off guard.
Yeah.
But him and David West, we've been joking. I I found this out this weekend. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on the phone, on the show or not, but when he signed me, he was switching to David West Motors. David said, "Well, you'll run good at Langley." So we proved you wrong. So I messed with David about it. I said, "Dang, did me like that."
That's funny.
So yeah, it was fun.
But look back one more time and think about the people that you've been in contact with that has helped you. Phil Warren.
Oh yeah.
And Lee and all these people that have been in your corner, Mac McKee.
That's right.
All those guys that sponsored you.
At the right times, at the right moments, right? In your
And I think it's tough for me because I don't know if I'm too type of person I am. I guess I got a big heart or what, but it's so hard because as you move on, you have to leave them behind, right? Like Mac did wonders for my career, and still to this day, he's always trying to help me out. But like they got me to a point that they could do, and then the next person took over.
Mhm.
And like even Staten says, like, I'm trying to get you to a point where somebody else takes over, but they're never gonna like be out of my life.
right.
But like the relationships mean more to me. Like, trust me, not knowing what next year is, if I'm leaving Pulliam or not, like that kills me. Not knowing I might not race with Pulliam again. Like it's tough, but I want to move on. But like the relationships mean so much to me. Like when I left Phil, that was hard. Obviously, it got easier over time,
Mhm.
but like the first months, I was like, man, like I'm gonna miss all of that. And I do. Like I still think about the times I had here, driving with all my guys that helped me, and I still talk to a lot of the guys that helped me, and they still come to the races. Like Roger comes to like almost all of them. He sells all my merch for me.
Yeah.
So like still have those relationships. You just don't see them every week like you used to.
Yeah, but
Phil, I saw every day. Phil practically raised me. That's where it's hard. Like
Right,
he
right.
started working with me. He had to drive me to the track. I didn't have a license, so like that's tough when you see him more than you see your parents.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, but I forget what famous actor, what's his name that made Medea? What the hell's his name?
Oh, Tyler
Perry.
Yeah.
He made the comment in one thing that said, some people are meant to be in your life. They're like rocket boosters.
That's right.
As you're traveling here, this booster pushes you to this point and falls off. Doesn't mean you forget them, but
That's right.
what they're
They
meant.
help get
Yeah.
to that. That's
And that's
smart.
kind of a good analogy of what you're saying, which I totally agree.
Yeah. It's
And the night you won the championship, I was sitting there talking with, I forget who it was. I think my wife was sitting there where I was talking. I said, the first memory I have of Butterby, I mean, I've known about you a long time before then.
it's
But
a good one or bad one?
the first racing memory was the night you parked the car there. The night you parked that
I
car.
don't think I'm allowed
Phil
to do
come in
that.
the door.
Yeah, and Phil came up here, and I'm sitting here going, "Oh, this ain't gonna be good."
Well, I don't think I'm allowed to do that anymore. I don't think that would be good for anybody looking at me. But at the time, I was going nowhere, and I was just a local guy, and I don't know. That was funny because that's the maddest I've ever seen Phil Warren in my whole career of him helping me. And
Yeah,
it
he's
was,
usually pretty calm.
and we've got some stories, so that's a memory that
Just the first one.
and then apparently, I guess I ran Keith Wilson over that night too on accident and knocked him on the hood, and that didn't look good either.
I don't remember. I
Oh,
remember talking,
yeah.
but I don't remember. I don't think I've seen
I
it.
had my foot on the clutch, and my leg was just getting so tired because I was sitting there, and I had thought I'd put it back in neutral, and he's standing in front of the car, and I let my foot off the clutch, and it rolled right into him. I was like, "Oh,
this
no,
ain't
this
gonna
is going to be even worse." But him and I laugh about it now. But it was an honest mistake. But it just all was going wrong quick.
Actually, kind of going back, Mason here, racing to 21 in the beginning of your career was that was some rivalry stuff there for a while.
So I got good news on this. So Greg Edwards and I stayed at his beach house a couple weeks ago for a wedding I had to go to. And so I have my own podcast now, the Bean Pod, which we hadn't recorded in a while, but we're going to record tomorrow. But Greg has agreed to be my first guest.
Oh, cool.
And him and I are tight. Like,
Mhm.
you would never know we've had our issue, like our wreck, right? But him and I are going to do a show that I don't know how long it's going to take, but we're going to talk about the wreck, where I came from, the now, and our whole history. And we're going to tell at the time like our sides of it. And I know his side of it now of how he feels because it took him years to tell me. And I'm happy I finally know. But
James will let you know.
yeah, Greg gave me the okay on it all. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I told Greg he has to be on the Bean Pod, and he told me he would. So I don't know when, but we're definitely gonna talk about it because we have incidents that him and he's forgot some of it, and I remember, and he remembers others.
Oh yeah.
And like he thought he threw a water bottle at me one night. Well, there was 2 nights. So we've got all
that's
kinds
gonna
of,
be great.
yeah.
Great one.
Yeah, so him and I talk almost every week. So he's
Speaking of your podcasts and stuff, the things you do with Flo.
that's a blast, man.
You guys. I mean, I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I copy and put it on my stuff so everybody will see it because I mean, y'all guys do a great job with it.
How did that come about?
Man, and one last thing on the Greg deal. We've had a bunch of good battles, and I learned a ton from that 21
Sure,
car.
yeah.
I posted that post the other week, how many times I followed him. So big guy in my life that I had to race. But the Flo deal, Nicole and I were doing our own vlogs and posting them on my YouTube. And Matt Dillner called me one day, and I had gotten to know them a little bit at the races. And he was like, hey, we want to help you. He's like, just be in this meeting tomorrow. So they put this meeting together, and they offer me this Flo deal to do this vlog. Yeah. And it started off kind of small. Like we did the first one, and it was just kind of like clips, and it was popular. And then we just kept on rolling with it. And at times it's been tough because I hadn't recorded as much as I wanted. But working with Rob from Flo, and then Dillner when he is there. But Rob's like my main guy I work with. Man, Rob's like another family member to me now too. And they make me look even better. Like Lee put me on the map, I say, and made me look like a rock star. Well, they took my brand and have made me like a household name in late model racing, like nationally. Flo is reached.
Everybody knows Butterbean.
That's right. And without the Flo deal, I might not have as much fan base as I do just racing.
What was it like for you at
Wilkesboro?
When you got out of the truck.
When you got out of the truck at Wilkesboro, and everybody was all excited.
That was
about not as much as I was too. But I was sitting there watching that.
Funny, you didn't really realize it, right?
I thought it was for Corey. Like I'm like, I ain't never been cheered to finish fourth. Like I'm upset because of the penalty. Like I'm happy. I'm pumped. I finished top 5, right? But
yeah.
I'm thinking of like,
you had a chance.
Thought I had a chance to win this race, and the racer in me is sad because I feel like I let them down getting that penalty. But I get out the truck and they're cheering, and you can't really hear it. There's so much commotion. And then like Rob was like, "That's for you, dude. Turn around." And when I turn around, they're just chanting Butterbean, and like it wasn't just the front stretch; it was the whole track. And like I felt like this is a moment that you'll never recreate, right? Like that's my right. Whole career, I will have that as my NASCAR debut, and you might not ever have that happen again. But it reminded me of like being at a concert and you come on the stage. Like I've never experienced it. Like I've had them cheer for me at Langley, but this is
that was way
a whole other
10
level,
times the crowd, and it was insane. And then just the support, like the rest of the day, like Christopher Bell, Noah Gregson, Corey LaJoy, all of them coming up to me and finding me because I walked around after the race in the infield and stayed, and they're like telling me how impressive it was. So that was really cool for me, you know. And then getting my diecast deals is cool. Like I'm getting ready to sign they got me signing the windshields, and then I got a Panini card deal that I got to do the signatures for. So like all the little stuff that I'm like 5-year-old me would be freaking out. It's like little 26-year-old still freaking out, but more tamed.
Yeah. I mean, it's the things that you dream about doing, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break for just a second with Butterbean. We're gonna keep him right here. He ain't going nowhere. But let's get Mark Turner on here.
Uh-oh. I know this guy.
You see how many times he's had to straighten him out?
Yeah, that's a good question. How many times I had to straighten this out?
Mark, how you doing, man?
All right. How are y'all?
Good.
I know you've been sitting here listening to this superstar here talk, and You got any stories about Butterbean with some of your races?
Well, first of all, Butterbean, have you brought that trophy back yet?
That wasn't mine. That's the owner's trophy. I gave mine back.
I saw a lobster in it at some point.
You gotta admit it. There ain't another champion that's done that.
Yeah, so how did they get to the point of the lobster being put in it?
Well, we knew we were going to Maine, and I told Poem, I said, we're putting a damn lobster in that trophy before this trip's over. And we took it to lighthouses, mountains, and I walked in this place to eat, get a lobster roll, and the lobsters were in the tank right there. And I said, can you put a lobster in this trophy for me? And he said, sure. There it was.
That's good. That's wild.
Talking about stories about Butterbean, I guess mine would be 2022 at Langley, the Cars Tour race. When you showed up as a local and you showed them how it was done, you spanked them, and you left with the trophy. That was a big night for the series. You know, having a local guy, you know, come in and show that locals can run their local tracks and win on the Cars Tour.
And move Lee out of the way.
That was that.
And move Lee out of the way.
Oh,
Lee's car out.
Carson.
Well, but when you driving for
Usually out of the 8 car, the junior.
Okay.
The heat was Lee's car.
Gotcha.
But I'll tell you, that night changed my life. Like that's the night that changed the whole trajectory of my whole career.
And that almost didn't happen, right? Weren't y'all not that good in the other car and just went home and got? I think I was talking to Phil about this.
I did. I wasn't going to race, and old school pushed me to race it. And I brought my older car, and we pulled out of the pit and broke. Didn't get the lap, and I went home and switched cars and came back the next day.
But I will tell one story on Butterbean. Hey, Butterbean, I guess you walk in your truck this year, Ace, and get me that hero card and sign it was good karma for you, huh?
That's right. I forgot that was early in the year too.
That was before Wilkesboro. I hit you up for one of those Truck Series hero cards.
It was a week before the truck race. I remember signing you that. That was cool. That's a good memory.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, you are one of the busiest people in racing. I've heard you be at this place, you're at this place doing races over here. Now, where all do you go in the season, man? You just been doing 100 races during the season.
What now?
I think you go to about 100 races during the season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just at Kern Raceway this past weekend for Arca West. Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. Went out there for Arca West, and I actually get to stay home this weekend. The next weekend I go to Phoenix.
Wow. So you stay pretty busy, huh?
Yeah, it's funny because I tell people, I said the biggest thing about it, or my biggest fear, is packing the wrong uniform. Not show up at the ARCA race with a Cars Tour uniform, or show up at Cars Tour with a NASCAR Wheel and Mod uniform. I always try to make sure I pack the right uniform, because sometimes when I pack, I have to pack for 2 or 3 different series, because I'll do them in a week or a week and a half. But yeah, it's a lot to keep up with. I think last year it was 52 races / events I did last year, and this year I'm on pace to do about the same. I'll go through December 14th this year is my last scheduled race.
Wow. Yeah, you got it going on. Now, when did all this start for you? When did you get started?
Well, it goes back to, growing up, I watched racing on TV like every weekend. Like when I was in middle school, high school, that's what I did on the weekends. Went home, just watched racing. I'd start Formula One in the morning, NASCAR, then drag racing. And when I graduated to high school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And then one day I was checking, back when we had Speed Vision, speed.com, and there was a thing on there that Greenville Technical College, which is where I live, Greenville, had signed a program to be the official training school of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series. They were going to do a thing where it was, crew members, officials, or whatever. And I was like, hey, that's me. So I got into the motorsports program and just kind of, got my foot in, kind of was doing some stuff at Greenville Pickens. And then Hooters Pro Cup, I did like an internship with them in 2004. And they hired me in 2005, and it just went from there.
So he's the smart one. He goes to racetracks and makes a couple bucks. We go and spend a bunch of money.
Well, $2 an hour and free cheeseburgers, but
Hey, that $2 will add up when we're there 20 hours.
Yeah. What are some of your experiences you've had in this sport that stick out in your mind?
Well, I guess it's just the people. You know, some of the people you get to know, like, you know, Bill Mullis. You know, I've gotten to be friends with Bill just because of back when I was with Pro Cup. I first went to Langley in 2009, and I went in 2010, and then I didn't get around to going again until 2022. And Bill reminds me every time I see him, he said, you can go from South Carolina to California, but somehow you can't make your way to Langley. So I hear about that a lot. But it's just the experiences, you know, just the cool moments that, you know, you get to experience. Because, I mean, we're all guilty, I guess, of just getting into a routine. You know, we go, we do it, you know, but there's moments that stick out and you're just like, wow, I got to be a part of that. Like the revival at Wilkesboro in 2022. That was a big, I mean, you just stood there and you saw, like, the race was over. I mean, Junior finished third, but he did that lap around. And I mean, the cameras were just going crazy. People were cheering, and you were like, wow, you're part of a big deal, a part of a big moment in racing, you know, just stuff like that.
Now you've got a lot of experience with a lot of different racetracks and stuff. I remember talking to you at Florence. I mean, we had a small conversation with Florence, but I remember talking to you. I mean, you're just involved in everything. And I'm sorry you have to work with Shane Law sometimes, but I mean, you know, everybody has their crosses they have to bear.
Well,
Shane Law is one of those crosses.
I figured I would get fired after working with him at Orange County this year because I didn't wear special socks.
No.
I didn't show up with the Shane Law socks. I don't know if that was a deal breaker or not.
Well, he makes sure everybody has socks on when he ground him. That's for sure.
Yeah. I actually at that Ward Burton race this year, they did it at Orange County, that foundation event.
Yep.
That was the first time I had actually worked side by side with Shane. He'd had someone that was scheduled to be his assistant race director, and they couldn't make it. And then I was supposed to went to Irwindale that weekend, but the race got postponed. So last minute, I was packing my bags and going to Orange County. So it was a pretty cool experience.
That's pretty cool that you get to experience the West Coast, the East Coast, and everybody says there's a lot of difference in the West Coast and East Coast race. What is your opinion on it? You see a big difference?
Yeah, I mean, there is. I mean, there's a big difference in it. You know, like when I was at, Kern this past weekend, they ran the SRL tour ran with us too. You know, the supers and pros, and I mean, it's just a different vibe, a different feel, you know, out there versus, you know, here in the Southeast, you know, in the Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina area, what they call, I guess, the true late model stock car, I would say, area of the country.
Yeah.
But do you, when you go to some of these other places, do you see how some of the processes are done there, and you can bring those back to the cars tour and say, hey, this is how they're doing it, and it's all about saving time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do. You know, that's one of the big things that when I go work, whether it's, you know, the South Carolina 400 at Florence or the Thanksgiving Classic or, you know, ARCA race or mod or cars tour, I pick up little things, you know, here and there, like, you know, like on the ARCA side, I do more of the marketing, like, you know, the victory lane, you know, pre-race and pole award stuff. And, you know, I kind of pick up on that. And then that's like we were at Wilkesboro. I mean, they got the victory lane, you know, up on the tower there, up, you know, on the concession stand there, and then a separate championship thing. And I was like, hey, if y'all were like stretched thin, I can handle the championship celebration. I was like, I kind of got some experience in it. And next thing I know, I'm hanging out with Butterbean and Pulliam celebrating the championship.
I got to tell him how you're the guy that saved me from rolling backwards.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, Butterbean, you're rolling? No, I said, hey, you're rolling. He said, oh, I'm rolling. I was like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to do.
Now he said, you're rolling. I said, oh, snap, we're rolling out the pit here. Yeah. I forgot it was him. He was the guy doing that. I forgot about
Yeah. Yeah, you got to keep an eye on Butterbean. You know, things get away from him sometimes when he gets excited.
Yeah, he about got a whole race car away from him that night.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, you got a lot going on. what are you looking at for next year? You gonna be as busy next year?
Yeah, I'll probably do about the same schedule, just waiting on all the schedules to come out, and then once I get the ARCA East and West in my hand, and the Wheeler Mod's already out. Once like Cars Tour's out, then I'll just lay them out beside each other, and I just kind of fill in my weekends. I know which ones they want me at, which ones I can miss to go do another deal. So yeah, I'm just waiting on all the schedules to come out, and I mean I'm blessed. It looks like I'll get to do about the same schedule next year. May pick up, do a little more of the ARCA East and West next year.
Do you ever get a weekend off?
Yeah, I'll have this weekend, and I was trying to think. I don't think I've had a full weekend off since May. Because see, even when I get it, when I get a weekend off and like Florence racing, I'll call Steve and Jacqueline up and be like, hey, I'm available. I'll come down and help y'all out. So I mean, it's self-induced, I guess you could say. But and then sometimes I'll go to a race just to be a fan. Like I'll have a weekend off. I'll be like, hey, NHRA's at ZMAX. I want to go hang out. So I'm always somewhere.
You said you're going to Phoenix?
Going to Phoenix.
You working the Cup race?
No, the ARCA West. I fly out Wednesday. ARCA West, we practice and qualify on Thursday, and then we race at 11:30 a.m. local time out there Friday morning.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna be there, so I'll come by and see you.
Yeah. I think we share a garage with Xfinity, so we'll all be intermingled over there together. But yeah, we'll be there Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
Wow. I guess it's true. If you enjoy what you're doing, you're not really working.
Yeah, that's true. I better enjoy it because I can't tell myself I do it for the money. I know that.
That's a fact.
Hey, Mark. You said you did the modifieds. Do you know Brian Morehouse? Do you work with him?
I do know Brian Morehouse, and in fact, the next time you see him, he has a few stories on me that you'd probably enjoy hearing. But yes, I've
Hey, Mark, I got a couple stories on him.
Yeah, I've been around Morehouse for many years, even back when he was working with the K&N E-Series.
Yeah.
I knew him then.
Yeah, I got a couple stories I could tell you about him, too. So if he starts anything with you, give me a call. I'll give you a good one.
I'll do that because sometimes I feel like I'm in a losing battle with him.
Hey, look, it's amazing you still have a job in racing, working with Shane Laws and Brian. I mean, that's kind of tough to be working with them guys. You're still in racing. That's a pretty good deal.
Well, I just look at it as special needs project.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, Mark, we appreciate your time, man. Thanks a lot for being with us, and we're going to talk to you again real soon. Maybe we'll see you around sometime.
No, I'll be in line at Stocks for Tots waiting to get your autograph again.
I'll be there.
Yeah, just hopefully I can get my ticket, and I'll be I'll be playing fan that day. But
Okay,
thank you.
come on by and see me. I'll give you a couple cards.
All right,
You'll have plenty left over.
I got too many comedians in here working with me. All right, Mark, we'll talk to you again soon, man.
all right. Thank you for allowing me to be on.
Thank you,
Thanks,
man. We
man.
appreciate your time. Run this by me again, Butterbean.
That was a good one. That was a good one. I didn't even think of that.
What you say?
No, I didn't say
I was going to say when you talk about if you enjoy your job, you never work a day. How many days did you work in yours? Did you enjoy this prison?
Nope, that's not what I said. I didn't say that.
I worked a lot of days in the prisons,
I didn't say that. That wasn't what I said.
but
We're good.
no, I did not enjoy it very often. But then again, I wasn't liking what I was doing. I couldn't enjoy it.
I always like to throw people in the video. I was like, well, he spent 20 years in the prison. And they're like, he's like, I was working the prison. I wasn't in prison.
Yeah, that's right. And
I just
did
leave
30
that part out.
And I did 30 years. Thank you very much. So anyway, well, Butterbean, this has got to be big time for you right now.
It's wild, that's for sure.
And we've already discussed, before you came on about next year. I know you can't say anything. You can't talk
Is
about
there
it.
anything that you want to shed light on?
Oh man, I'm sure there's a lot of
That you
rumors.
would 28 clear?
Yeah. So obviously I'm decked out tonight because I just got back from Maine, so I ain't have a lot of stuff washed up. But Yeah, I signed with Clear 28 after my truck race at Wilkesboro, which is Brandon McReynolds' management group. And there's more than just him there. A couple of different people that work with me, but Brandon McReynolds is probably the most known name out of the group because of obviously the last name. So it's been really cool working with them. They help career plan and help me negotiate through my next steps and work with me every week. So that's been really cool to have some people in that circle while I'm in Virginia, and something I never thought I would have. Almost like it's like an agent or a management group.
Mhm.
So been cool working with them. They kind of got with me after the truck race and kind of took a chance with me. You know, they have under contract, they have Noah Gregson, Cole Custer, Sam Mayer, Jack Wood, and me. We have 5 drivers.
Okay.
So pretty good names in there. They don't do a lot because they don't want too many. So I'm very fortunate that they thought enough of me to see potential and work with me. So obviously we're working hard at trying to figure out next year, but you know, just hopefully I can tell my fans soon. Hopefully something will come about, but I really don't have an answer right now. But just know we're working every day.
How hard is it to sit here and wait for this? I mean, it's got to be taxing on you.
Yeah.
Taxing on family and everything, waiting for that chip to fall that's going to say, okay, this is where we are.
Well, that not to mention who you can tell a little something to and who you can't tell a little something to.
Learn that lesson. and it's tough because, you know, I've had a lot of doors closed right on top of me where I was looking good or thought I had a deal or thought I had something lined up, and then every day changes in the racing world. So, like, I mean, just because you got something close today, tomorrow morning it could be upside down, and that's happened to me a lot. So I learned really soon, don't assume and don't get excited until it's done, because
Until the contract's signed, right?
yeah, if I would have
Even then, sometimes.
if I would have been off of some things that happened this year, I'd have been in trouble, because I thought a lot of things were set and done, and last second it was upside down. So yeah, I feel very confident I'm going to have something for next year, but you just never know.
Do you have a time frame of when?
I was hoping this week, but you never know. So hopefully, I would hope by Cars Tour Banquets in 2 weeks, I'd hope I have something announced by then, and that way I can stop having to answer the "what are you doing" questions. But
and how is that hard? I mean, it's got
very hard. You get tired of having to answer it, because you want to tell them. You want to tell them that you have something. You just want to say you have something so you don't have to stress about it. Because when you start talking about, I don't have nothing, you start stressing more because you start having to repeat it.
I think about that. Yeah.
It's tough, you know. I'm a racer and I want to race, and it's not like running a local show anymore. It's a different world.
Yeah, and like, so far as having the agency, that's got to take some pressure off of you, right? Because they understand how these deals work.
Oh yeah,
and the experience that they bring has got to be tremendous for somebody like you that's kind of learning this world, right?
It is. I mean, you know, I like to be personable. Like, I tell everybody we talk to, like, just because I have a management group doesn't mean you can't talk to me. Like, I like to be involved.
Sure.
But they know what to look for. They know how to get me in the door they have the relationships. And it's all about the relationship in that world. Like, you can't just walk in and get a meeting. Like, you've got to know somebody to get to that table. So they help with a lot of that. And I mean, they
help with, I'm assuming, sponsors. I mean, pretty much the whole nine.
Yeah, they help. Help try to market and sell. It's hard for them to do that when I don't have anything signed. So if we get something done, then they can go to work and try to help on that to get back whatever money I've had to put in with my sponsors. Because as we all know, you got to bring the money.
Yeah.
Nobody drives for free, whether they say they do or not. It's a lot.
Look at Chandler Smith this weekend.
That's right.
I mean, we've gotten to learn that. I mean, we know there's a lot of that. I don't think people realize how much that really is in this business.
Well,
besides a few.
And I guess you could say this, that we've been joking. If somebody says they drive for free, they might be saying the truth, because it might be their dad or somebody. They might not be paid it, but they're not. They brought money somehow in the deal. And
I think we had a discussion in Charlotte with some people, and from what we were understood, there's only one person in the whole truck series that's not paying for their ride. Is what we were told. There's one person doing it for a living and making a living. And I probably say that guy's leading the points right now. I believe that's him. I don't know that for sure, but I would guess that's him. I don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't say nothing, but didn't bring the majority of it probably, but brought some.
Oh,
like.
Well, I mean, everybody brings some to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I think
I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong guy. You're talking about who just won.
Mhm.
That's different. I'm talking about somebody else.
Yeah. But my understanding, he's the
I can
only
believe
one
that. I
that
can believe
that
that.
is not bringing any money. Everybody else is bringing money to
I
their
believe that. I believe that.
and we've learned it also that, like, even though you see, I'll just randomly say, like, the Napa truck, just because Napa's all on there, there's people paying for that ride.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Yep.
that's just the way.
I mean, that's a lot of the deals is the people that are spending the money. It's not even their company on it. Like,
that's what we.
People renting the car, they let them run that logo. Something like it's not. That's probably the most misunderstood thing is, like, when people sign a deal, they think they got picked up, but like that was the case. Lord, we'd have been picked up a long time ago, right?
Right. Well, I mean, Chandler Smith is a prime example of that. I mean, we know this from his comment this past weekend.
He don't have the money to.
And he's paying for what he's got now, and he may not. He's probably going to be working for his dad next year, or it's a good possibility. But I think, honestly, I think it'd be a good idea to have, like, Brandon come on and talk about the whole side of that business.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's interesting.
I think it's an avenue that people you that need to know and understand.
Yeah, Brandon is awesome, man. I love working with him. Obviously, I do a lot of Zoom meetings because I live up here, but they have a nice place down there in Mooresville, and I've been there. And, I've met so many people through them. I got to put a shout out, but, like, I met the lady with Logitech, and she sent me steering wheel pedals and shifter just to try, and I've just got it. So I got back from Maine. So, like, that's an expensive investment, but like, I met her in Kansas, and she found out I sim raced, and just cool, like,
it's not what you know, it's who you know.
That's right.
But what's it going? I mean, how hard is it for you to live here in Virginia, and your whole everything's here, but everything is being done in the Mooresville, Charlotte area?
It's tough. I mean, you gotta, like I said, to move forward, you gotta be there. You gotta be in the circle.
Yeah.
Because up here, you're not in the circle. That's why, even if I'm down there, I'm still gonna have my management group,
right? Because
you still need that. But I will say it's gonna help being down there, because I can go wherever, whenever, and make it happen.
But the key thing is you got to put your face out there so everybody sees you. They knows what
they see you. You're relevant. Your name's in people's mouths, and
you can easily get to the airport and get on a plane, right?
That's right.
You can say, "Hey, I need somebody," and you got to be available.
100%.
So let me ask one other question. If there's a young, like, these guys in the limited that are running that wants to move up, and you're that example for them now, right? I know it's probably hard to think about you being that guy that, hey, Brendan's doing these things, and I want to, as a role model, you're a role model.
No, it's true. Like,
what would your advice be?
Man, if I could go back in time, one, I wouldn't put pressure on myself to, like, that you have to win. Winning is nice. It's more about character, how you represent yourself, how you separate yourself by being different. Social media, the vlogs, branding, networking yourself. Also, don't get over, it sounds crappy, but unless you got money, you're not going to get a shot, right? Like, it's rare. if I had that mindset back then, I probably would have been so different because I thought, man, if I win, my phone is going to be ringing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it's just reality. I would have rather known reality than now. That doesn't mean you can't make it because I don't have money.
Right.
I didn't have money. My family did what they could to get me, like we were doing all we could. So where I'm going with this is, even if you don't have the money, you can still make it by how you market yourself, shaking hands. When you're out in front of this crowd, how you represent yourself on a loss means more than a win. How you handle your temper, how you handle yourself to your competitors. Old school video games, right? Who would have ever thought? They got through. Reverend Potter actually mentioned my name to them. They got hooked up with me from here, but Reverend Potter thought a lot of me because known him my whole life. He knew I needed help. They basically start putting money into my deal. I get some better equipment. We start winning championships. I'm hanging out with the Statons. They see the potential. They see me as a person. That's what they tell everybody. Like, they help me for who I am, not for what I've won.
Mm-hmm.
All that just adds up. So, like, you know, long story short, really is, I mean, you just never know who's watching, who you're talking to. Don't ever give up. Even knowing that it takes the money, you don't give up because you just never know who's sitting in the stands one night and goes, you know what? I enjoy helping someone. I don't want anything out of it, but I just want to see somebody make it, and I want to take a chance on them, just like old school video games did, just like the Staton family. The whole family is riding with me on this, and they just want to see me succeed. They don't want anything out of it. They just want to see me make it. And that's, you got to surround yourself with good people, good team. You can't have negative people in your life or on your team.
Yeah.
And I say team, you can't have pit crew guys that are going to ruin it for you. You got to have everybody having a good time and knowing what you're trying to do. If you want to be, there's nothing wrong with being a local guy. Nothing wrong with being a late model guy. If I don't ever get another opportunity and all I am is a late model legend, I'm happy, right? If all I ever would have done was win 3-4 more championships out here and tie Phil and Greg, I'd have been happy. But just know your place and what your realistic goals are and accept it and enjoy the moment. It goes by too fast. I wish I could have enjoyed it a lot more at the time.
But now that you're doing the car tour and whatever you got coming up,
100%.
You got to be enjoying you got to take time to enjoy it. And I think I saw that at Wilkesboro when you got out of the car and the fans were cheering and everything. I thought I saw it in your face that, hey, I'm enjoying this. This is me.
You are, and I was mad at myself the week leading up to the championship. I probably didn't enjoy it like I wanted to, and I had to keep telling myself, enjoy the moment, right? Like, you're getting ready to race for a Cars Tour championship. Whether you win it or not, you have a shot. There's only 2 of you that have a shot. And honestly, I even wish I could have done it different when I celebrated in Victory Lane or in the pit road, wherever we did it. But, like, those are the times of my life. And moving forward, they'll probably be the best times of my life. Racing late models probably going to be the best memories I have. You know, I'm going to enjoy what's next or what moving forward, but it's going to be stress. It's going to be a job. You know, it's something you love.
Right.
So you want to do it, but it's not going to be like racing a short track on a Saturday night with Lee Pulliam or Phil Warren.
Right. Right.
You know?
I love your advice on it. And I think we have told people many times it's not really all about winning.
It's not.
I think we've worded it differently, but your brand is a great way. Social media, I mean, you have to pound it, right? You have to be exciting, and the personality. And I think, not to say it's good, bad, or any different, but your personality has made you separate from the other guys.
And I had to, because, and I don't fake it. Like, that's who I am. And I know I didn't have the money. I know I didn't have everything I needed to just go get a ride. So I had to be different. But I think it's contagious because, and I say that, my team, they have so much fun. Like, I make sure, like, you talk to anybody that helped me on my family team, they had a blast with me. And now I feel like you could go to the Pulliam team and everybody in that organization would be like, oh, we've had the most fun. But that's just who I am, right? Like, I want to win, and I'm serious, and I have my moments, but I feel like I've made it an enjoyable time for them to be around me, and I hope they'll have those memories for a lifetime, that they are like, man, we had some good times, you know.
Yeah, but you will do. I agree. You have fun, but when you said you want to win, that shows on the racetrack. Obviously, 'cause
Oh,
you've done things
Yeah.
that you take the chance because you want to win that bad, and there's something to be said about being passionate about what you do, like the first Hampton heat, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, not everybody's going to take that shot.
And
Although the next couple of years, everybody's waiting because they know you. Because it seemed like I think you landed up third again. I think.
I did a car store race.
No,
I
maybe
did,
it was the car store. They're like, I was listening to somebody on the radio, and they were like, Butterbean's going to, jump to the bottom with turn one.
Yeah, it's been an exciting journey, and honestly, I'm proud of what I've accomplished. Like I was saying earlier. And it's more than just the late model stuff. Like winning the Chambaluzzo race was cool. Winning a dirt late model championship was cool. Like there's so many things that I've done that has just been such a good time. And at the time, it's fun. And I don't know. You just look back on it now. And like when I won that Baluzzo modified race, that was for fun. The late model season was over.
You probably didn't did you think you had a shot at winning that thing to start with?
I knew after we tested, we were good, but I knew Matt Carter's car is so good.
Yeah.
And the only way I was going to beat him is to outsmart them in traffic. And that's how I got the lead. He went too high. And once I got the lead, I'm like, oh, they're going to have to wreck me. I'm running the grass. They ain't getting it. And that was a year of Phil training me of half in late model races I won the first 10, 15 laps. Wirtz would be beating the trunk off me. But I just slow down and come off in the grass. And then, at the end of the race, I done drove away. But, the first 10, 15 laps, I would have lost the lead. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Somebody want me to show you that.
Man, that was a cool night. That was, there was a lot of exciting things happening that time because I had just signed a lead deal. And I was going to run the 400. But, at that moment, I didn't know what was going to happen 2 years later. Nobody ever knows. But, winning Wilkesboro, winning the Thanksgiving Classic last year. This is cool. And I'm proud to announce I'm going to run the 400 and the Classic with Pulliam the end of the year.
Oh, really? Cool.
So I just got that done. So
that's cool.
Excited to have 2 more shots to win. No points, no stress. Just go win.
Just go win it all. Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun.
Well, Bean, we're proud of you.
I appreciate it.
And it's fun. We're glad that you come back and share these stories with us. It's very cool. And
No, I hope that advice was good. I didn't want to ramble and I didn't want to be too harsh, but I would want to know what I know now then.
Sure.
What I've learned, So
But it is funny that everybody thinks you need to win, right? They think winning takes care of it. And I'm saying, sponsors don't care about wins.
Winning helps, right? Winning
It
helps.
does.
Winning helps everything. But I can tell you this: old school signed me, and I won't win nothing. They helped me, and I hadn't won nothing at Langley. So, it's just
and that's been an iconic paint scheme.
Oh yeah, I think that's the thing. Even moving forward, obviously old school's not funding the car store deal, but we still had the colors, we still had the number font, we had to change the characters up. But that scheme, colors, and number has just became my image. And I feel like if I run any late model race, I'm gonna have that number font and that color. It's just me.
Right.
You saw the guys out here that always had the same iconic schemes for years. That's my
Danny or
yeah,
Mark
that's
with the
right.
55
Danny had that yellow and blue for years, and then he went to this white. I like the white with the blue he's got now. That's been his the last I don't know how many years, but it's just it's pretty.
If
cool.
you look at the car, who's
That's
driving.
right.
Well, we appreciate
No, thank you for having me.
beyond anything in the world. We're probably some of your best fans.
I appreciate it.
I make sure I sit back and watch your races all the time, and whenever you're on, I have to see it. So
I appreciate it, y'all.
And I love your vlogs.
Yeah,
but it helps that the girls in it because you're not
She's
the best,
better looking.
You're not the
that's
best.
how I get the views. That's how I get the views. That's how I get the views.
I'm getting ready to say it.
I'm always thinking.
Yeah. Anyway, anyway, it's been great to have you here. Thank you for taking your time to come. I know you've got a lot of stuff going on, just coming back from Maine.
Yeah.
And I irritated the hell out of you.
No, it's all good. My phone would not work up there. There was no service.
So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, Scott and I really enjoy having you with us. Don't be a stranger. We're still gonna get you, even when you go on up somewhere else. We're still
I'll
gonna
call
it.
it.
We're still
I'll call it.
But now you're gonna be in Charlotte, so that'd be a different situation.
Yeah, hopefully. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, that's our show for tonight. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I mean, it was a big night for us to have Brendan here with us, the champion of the Cars Tour, late model stock car series. So anyway, we'll see you again next Tuesday night. Please like and share our show, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday night.